In addition to the Kobayashi Maru event and also Arena of Sompak, Cryptic decided to implement 2 new ships in the game, both of them being the Undine version, species 8472, if you have seen Voyager's timeline, basically. But these, or at least one of them, is available through the Infinity Lockbox, and the other one is going to be available through the Lobai store. If you're going to have enough Lobai, you can basically purchase this one. Guys, just a heads up, my awesome channel now accepts channel subscriptions. As always, it's never a must. You can always enjoy the channel's content for free, but you could help my channel out a lot by getting a paid subscription. Link and info in the description. Now let's get back to the video. And the majority of you guys are having enough Lobai because you kind of did the event, or at least are finishing up the event, and you should have like 1,000 Lobai. So you can actually choose one of these ships, or at least not this one, the other one that I'm going to do a review about. This one, the current Cheirax, I don't know how to pronounce this. I asked, I have an app on my computer, on my Chrome tab, an extension, and I right click it, and this is how it's pronounced.
Cheirax.
So that is how it is pronounced through the artificial intelligence. That's how I'm going to pronounce it as well. So they, or at least it said it's Cheirax, so I'm going to use Cheirax. Bio-Warship. Now this one is, let's go through all of the information for this thing. So this yada yada. The Undine Cheirax Bio-Warship is a fairly durable tactical ship with a bristling bristling with weaponry. It has fairly average hull and shield strength, and its turn rate is lower than many escorts, but it provides an additional aft weapon. Ooh, that's going to be interesting. An additional aft weapon, so it's going to have more weapon banks. I'm reading over here. Pilot ships are highly agile craft designed to perform advanced maneuver that can give them a deadly edge in combat. Your starship can perform a sudden maneuver in each horizontal direction, forward, backward, left, and right. Executing each maneuver will rapidly reposition your starship while granting a very brief damage immunity. But at cost, all available thruster fuel will be taking several seconds to recover. So there is a little bit of a mechanics to this thing. In space, you're going to have like a thruster fuel, they call it. It's basically like a bar. Whenever that bar is going to be full, you're going to be able to utilize this this horizontal direction maneuver that they're talking about, so you can move forward, backward, left, and right, and that takes about maybe 10 to 12 to 15 seconds at maximum to that fuel gauge to be full again, so you can utilize that over and over again. So they are kind of limiting you with, you know, that cooldown, but it's kind of nice and definitely interesting because all of the pilot ships have that as an ability. So this is very nice to you know, to have that as a thrusting capabilities basically. This console, oh wait. So is equipped with the console universal enhanced fluidic energy focusing array. Oh my god. On the bioships are known for their ability to channel focused energy from the fellow bioships into a massive burst of energy. Now, if you don't know what they're talking about right here, they kind of blew up an entire planet, or at least the planet was like infested by Borg, so it was a Borg planet, but they kind of like merged together, or at least closely with each other, and they basically were firing at one particular Undine bioship, and then this Undine bioship collected all of the energy that all of the other ones were redirecting it to it, and then it basically blew up an entire planet. And it was really nice to see that they are basically working together to have, like, a massive output of energy. So that's definitely interesting, or at least it was interesting how that was being displayed. This powerful discharge was once seen in a powerful through to destroy a planet. That was a simulator bug. I just said all of that. Oh, man. When used in space, the energy discharge causes a series of massive shockwaves that will damage and repel any enemies unfortunate enough to be caught in the devastation. This console provides passive bonus to structural integrity, and also weapon power may be equipped in any Undine ship in any console slots. So there is a restriction on this particular console. It only works on Undine ships. There is also a unlockable starship trait. After achieving level 5, you will unlock the Omega Bond starship trait. Well, this is slotted activating Omega attack pattern Omega or any pilot bridge officer ability. You and all teammates within 10 kilometers will gain the Omega Bond for a short time. Omega Bond boosts damage, damage resistance, turn rate, and flight speed. Subsequent application of Omega will refresh the duration of the Omega Bond. Ooh, okay. This is interesting, but I kind of want to see the statistics over here, the numbers that they're talking about, the damage and damage resistance, turn rate, and flight speed. That could be interesting if it's high enough. This is available for tier 6. All factions must complete the tutorial. Hull strength 1.15, shield modifier 1.0, 4 weapons on the raft, 4 weapons on the front, 4 weapons on the aft as well. Whoa, nice. 4-4 is basically like a cruiser. Nice. Anyway, device slots 3. The bridge officer station, we are going to take a closer look in space. Console modifications, we got 5 tactical, definitely tactical heavy over here. 2 engineering and 4 science, sorry. So in a total 11 console slots with a base turn rate of 14 degrees per second, basically just like the Kobayashi Maru. We kind of did a video about it yesterday on my channel. Impulse modifier 0.2. Wait, what? 0.2? That's kind of low. Maybe that's a typo. Friction or traction, 55, plus 10 to weapon power, and also plus 10 to engine power. Can equip to dual cannons, dual heavy cannons as well. Also comes equipped with the universal console, the enhanced fluidic energy focusing array, the thing that we're talking about right here, the planet killer. Improved hull regeneration, and also we are going to get the ability package destroyer right here. So precise weapon system, enhanced weapon banks, devastating weaponry, enhanced weapon system, and Omega Bond is going to be the starship trait, not to be confused with James Bond, by the way. Anyway, it is going to increase damage resist, turn rate, and also flight speed. So it's kind of interesting to see if the statistics are going to be interesting enough to actually buy this thing. So I'm going to make this one my current starship. I'm going to go into customization. After that, into space, see how big it is, how small it is. And we're going to take this thing into combat. I don't think there's going to be any new unique bridge interior, because they basically are not doing those anymore. They basically are, you know, the person that is doing like bridge officer, or at least not bridge officer, the interiors. He's basically working on something else designed for Star Trek Online as well. So no unique bridge for these things, but we do have lots of other goodies that we can play around with. And to begin, that's going to be the customization. Now we are at customization. This thing is, or at least the way it is looking right now, it's like, what were you thinking? But when you rotate it around, it is definitely true to whatever we saw on Voyager. This is one of those ships that was attacking Voyager, and this thing has enough firepower to kill a Borg cube, or at least damage it very, very, very harshly. So it's going to, or at least that Borg cube actually sustained enough damage, so it's kind of like exploded. We do have different templates that we can use on this thing. That's cool. Oh, wait a minute. Okay. I might be mistaking that the ship that attacked Voyager could be with these, or at least this particular one, the Nikor. The Cheirax could be totally something new. Kind of like it if you compare it with the Nikor. It's more these wings, if you can call it that. Also these prawns up here, they basically are a little bit more menacing, to be honest. So this is basically the Nicor 2.0. Let's call it that. I am seeing that there is a new, or at least there is an interior, but this is not something new. This is just basically like a room with the way that is actually being portrayed in Star Trek Online. There was a mission, and they basically grabbed a section of that, and they made that as a bridge. So I'm not sure if I'm going to do a review or not about the bridge, but I might actually make someone happy over that. So we do have different material types. We got the upgraded. It's like a gold. Oh my God. I like it. I like it a lot. Very, 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 very nice. Type 2 is the normal default material types that this ship came out of the box. Type 1 is basically just like the Nicor, materials that they use for that. But the upgrade is like a little bit, it's a little bit shiny over here. Very nice. Now there could be more templates or more materials to use to select from. I am on Tribble, because I am testing this thing out before I actually buy it, or if I want to invest all of my resources, or at least some of my resources into this, into getting these things. So that is definitely a tip that I'm giving you guys as well. If you are into, buying ships that might be interesting for you to use, test them out on Tribble first. So there are different, you can mismatch components up here. So the saucer section is like those prawns. So you can definitely mismatch components. Oh, what is this? I want to reset this thing. I want to see what is. Okay, so this is top view, rear. So you can misalign all of these things, making it look like really weirdly. Okay. PK connection. I have no idea what PK connection actually is. It's basically the hull over here. So you got sanction, right, left, center, small wings. Oh, those are these things up here. Okay, nice. Hull and saucer. Nice. And you can also change the way that this thing has like different materials to it. Now I am not going to change anything on this ship, because I kind of want out of the box experience, but you can have like a totally mismatching components, something like that. Could be interesting or not. I kind of like it with the upgraded skin though. To me, this thing looks very, very badass. Anyway, let's get into space and see how this ship is going to compare against the Lucari scout ship. So we are in space. You guys can see the comparison between the Lucari and this particular Undine Bio-ship. I believe they're all Bio-ship, right? But this is how it looks like in comparison to them. It's not that big, to be honest. It's definitely escort type, but it does have this thing, and this thing is that left and right and forward and backward pilot maneuvers that they're talking about. And this is that gauge that I was talking about. So this thing actually fills up really quickly. Previously, I said about 10 to 15 seconds, and I think it's less than that. I think it's like more to 7 or something like that at maximum. So let's talk a little bit about numbers. Out of the box, I don't have any skills or anything like that. My skill tree is not being set up at all. So out of the box, this thing is turning already at 23.4 degrees per second with the normal, engine that we have, the level less items. And it is doing, basically doing good. 23.4, definitely true to its name. Definitely pilot maneuvers. Very cool, very nice to see that in action. Now we already saw that this thing is going to have an extra weapon slot at the aft. So that might be very interesting. So you got like a pilot ship that has eight weapons. You have 5 tactical console slots to enhance said weapons. So I think this is going to be a really high damage dealer, to say the least. You can definitely equip, if you're going beams, you can equip like omnidirectional beams over here, or turrets that have those 360-degree targeting arc right there. So you can definitely utilize the aft weapons to fire on the front one as well. And these are just basically dual heavy, maybe like that, or, you know, beam banks to have that small firing arc. This is what I'm talking about. This. Oh, it doesn't show it like that. Okay, so like this, the blue outline that you guys are seeing in your screen. Oh, sorry, that was that pilot maneuver that they're talking about. So if your enemy is somewhere between that blue indication over there, these are going to be very good, because they're going to basically dish out more damage than the traditional beams that have like a bigger firing arc. Okay, so what else to say? You got 4 in the front, 4 on the aft. You got room for 3 devices like the Kobayashi Maru. If I have that somewhere, I should have that. Here we go. Universal console, 2 for engineering, 4 for the science amongst us if you want to go science stuff, and also 5 for tactical. That's insane. All right, mastery. No, you know what? Let's go universal console first. Okay, we just read that. That's the planet killer that they're talking about right here. This thing gives +3 to weapon power setting and also 17.1 in starship hull capacity. I have not enhanced anything at all of this thing. This is also part of a space set. I'm guessing the second universal console is going to be from the other ship, the one that you can buy from the Lobi, or with Lobi from the Lobi store. Lobi or Lobi, I don't know how you guys want me to pronounce those things, but I'm just going to say it Lobi. This massive energy disk has been adapted for combat use instead of as a method of planetary destruction by calling it the energy focusing drone ships. A Undine vessels can then channel this energy into an attack that will devastate the enemy ship and all of their enemies and all of their their nearby allies. The attack detonates multiple times upon colliding with the enemy, each time emitting a ring of energy that gets progressively larger over the course of the 3 detonations. Definitely going to see this thing in action. So this thing is going to do anti-proton damage. With my particular setup, that is basically non-existent. It is doing 3.5k anti-proton damage times 3. So it is going to begin at 3.8 anti-proton, or at least 3.8k anti-proton damage, and it's going to be increased at the secondary 5.1 and also 6.0 at the third burst. So it's going to repel enemies, or at least the first one is going to repel enemies within 1 kilometer. The second one is going to repel all of the enemies within 2 kilometers. And the third one is going to repel all enemies within 5 kilometers of the target. Nice. I like that. Repel is basically like a pushback. Kind of interesting to see, but in some cases, kind of like, what's the point, right? But it's kind of fun to see. Must be at least 2 kilometers away from the target to fire this thing right here. Very nice. So if you have both ships and both universal consoles and you equip them on one particular ship, you're going to get the 2 set bonuses: 33 all damage resistance rating and also 33% increasement in health regeneration. Interesting. Level 1 in your Starship Master is giving you accuracy by 5. Level 2 is going to give you an increasement in critical severity by 15. Level 3, 2.5% in critical chance. Level 4 is going to give you 10% kinetic and also 10% in energy-based damage. And the unlockable Starship trait is going to be Omega Bond, pilot abilities, and AP. What was it? AP again? No, it wasn't anti-program. Grant the Omega. Attack pattern. Attack pattern grants buff to team. 10% bonus all damage. Ooh, that's high, isn't that? 10%. And also plus 15 in defensive rating. Wow. Okay. This might be worth it, guys. But then again, you kind of need attack patterns. I believe it was alpha. And also plus 15 in defense. So it is a little bit off for both of them. And this is also going to grant the buff to the entire team. And I believe it was like 5 kilometers or something like that your team needed to be, or that wasn't actually the case. It's just going to grant the buff to the entire team. Wow, this trait might be worth it. I'm thinking about getting this ship just because of this trait right now. Okay, so bridge officer station. We have a lieutenant commander universal / intelligence bridge officer, so you can train, or at least you can utilize intelligence bridge officer powers up here. You have a lieutenant commander engineering station for survivability. We have a commander tactical / pilot station, so you can mismatch all of your abilities to include pilot abilities as well. And the last one is a lieutenant commander science station to do a little bit of crowd control with gravity well and all that good stuff. Okay, so I'm going to take this thing into combat, see how good it is going to do. But before we're going to do that, I'm going to show you guys two things, one of them being the Admiralty card and also a little bit of a bridge tour. So let me get that going. Okay, so this is the Admiralty card. We have 27 in engineering, 60 in tactical, 39 in science, and also plus 15 in tactical per engineering ship that you're going to slot in with the same project, or at least in the same project. It is currently unreserved because it's not being utilized. All right, let me also be back again for the ship bridge, the Undine ship right here. Okay, so this is how it looks like, with the bridge. Now, as you guys can see, it's not a really big map or anything like that. It's just a little bit of a room where we can actually move around with. We can access the library files over here. We can access, contact our duty officers up here, select a small craft, if I can jump, and account bank, and that is it. Now it is spaciously looking, it's kind of, definitely gives you the vibe of, hey, you're somewhere where you are not supposed to be, or at least that's the vibe that I'm getting. Now, as Undine goes, they can basically walk up the walls and stuff like that, so they can utilize these parts here as well. So that can be interesting for them as well. Ooh, that's one of my that's one of my bridge officers. I believe that one is the assimilated, yeah. And this is basically like a viewing screen information, screen for all of the good stuff that they basically need to see outside what is happening. Okay, so that is the bridge. Not a lot, just a small room, to be honest. So I'm gonna take this thing into combat, level it all the way up. So we're going to unlock the fifth mastery up here, that's called the Omega Bond, and we're going to see if this thing is actually worthwhile or not. I think it is, because 10% bonus all damage. Whew, that might be interesting, but we will see. Let me level this thing up all the way to level 5 in the Starship Mastery. So I'll be right back again. So this is the part where I'm going to show you a little bit of combat with this particular ship. Now, I did unlock the Starship trait. The Starship, I leveled it all the way to the Starship Mastery level 4, but it does not show up in my trait list. Now, this is everything, and this thing is called Omega Bond, so it should be under the O. If we go scroll all the way up and then scroll all the way down, it's not in this list. Now, this is probably just one of those things that only happen on Tribble, but so I can't show it to you guys. This is where the O actually starts. So we got overpowered and over... What is this thing? Over... Let me just open it up a little bit. Overpowered and overgunned over here, but it doesn't say the what was it, the Omega Bond. So I can't show you that in as trait goes, but I am going to show you a little bit of space combat, because that is something that I learned a little bit about this particular ship while doing some damage. Now, I am utilizing a couple of pilot abilities, as you guys can see over here. We got 1, 2, 3 of them. Now, as always, for those that have been watching the channel for a long time, this is not a build video. I'm not going to show you how to fly this thing, but I kind of, you know, selected a couple of really interesting skills or abilities, or at least I think so. Gravity well, just to group them together. I got cannon scatter volley, because I am using a dual B banks, because if you're going to use something else with if you're going to use something else with this particular ship, it's just going to be a shame, because, you know, this thing has a really awesome turning cycle. And look at this thing, when it is blasting at people, or at least at enemies, it is doing a lot of DPS out there. This particular thing, I really don't see the big use out of this thing. It kind of froze up and it bombarded some kind of asteroid over there. Because the enemy died, that basically had no idea where to fire. So that was a little bit of funny. Here we go. We will try it again. Here we go. In 3, 2, 1, click. Now, it does not make your ship move anymore. It does do this, so it blasts, and basically, in my personal opinion, that is mine, obviously, it did not do enough damage to be, you know, something really overpowered to have on this particular ship. And I believe this thing is a little bit high on the volume. There we go. It's lower a little bit. The good thing about this universal console, the clicky, the activatable, is on a 1 minute cooldown, so you can basically utilize this thing over and over and over again, or at least whenever it is out of the cooldown. But then, I mean, is it really something that you are going to utilize a lot in this particular ship? The good thing about this particular ship, where it stands out, is that it has 4 weapons on the aft. Oh, I'm probably gonna die here to the warp core breach. Okay, I think I'm far enough. Okay, so it does not do that. Let me just go forward so we can utilize this unique ability again. Here we go. 3, 2, 1, click. And there are a couple of also other enemies over there near his vicinity, so you can actually see him pushing back. And that's about it. It didn't do, in my opinion, did not do enough damage. But then again, I'm not skilled for, you know, for science and science stuff, because this is definitely science that you want to have on your particular ship. Now I need to go here. Now you guys can see I am utilizing a couple of pilot abilities over here that could be interesting, to say the least. if you want to use that. But this thing is highly maneuverable. It is, you know, with this pilot ability over here, so you can strafe left, right, forward and backward. You can, you know, basically fire your guns at the enemy basically twice if you want to, you know, backstab a little bit. But in all honesty, this pushback ability, or at least this planet killer, in my opinion, it's not doing enough damage. Look at that. So it is pushing them back. It did 14k, but that's about it. This, you know, the hit points on this particular carrier, the Kazon carrier over here, was like, yeah, I can take it. Is that everything you got? And in, you know, in the TV show, in Star Trek Voyager, this thing actually, you know, took out an entire planet that was infested with Borg, or at least the Borgified planet. So let me just give you guys a rundown. So with having, you know, with abilities over here, having 5 universe, or at least 5 consoles for tactical, definitely going to enhance your traditional weapons. That could be, in my case, dual heavies, but you can also use beams, or beams or torpedoes could actually work as well, because, you know, those are also enhanced by tactical consoles. It has enough science consoles to enhance these kind of stuff, like, you know, if you want to do science stuff, gravity well, you know, to group enemies together, Tychon's Rift and all that kinetic based damage. This has enough potential to dish out that much. Now, I have to say that I did not die at any time that I was leveling this thing. I was doing a couple of like patrols over here at the triple testing server, because there's basically nobody here to do TFOs, and why would you? But it is handling itself really good, and that has to do with the, you know, because this ship is highly maneuverable, the majority of enemy weapon fire is going to miss your ship. So that's, you know, what this particular ship has for itself. You know, it's very nice in survivability whenever the enemy is not hitting you. When they are hitting you, when they are holding you with the tractor beam or something like that, or gravity well, and there is no chance for you to escape, then you basically are done for. Luckily that did not happen to me, but it is a little bit squishy, because, you know, it is small, so the majority of your skills are not going to be on survivability. For me personally, I did go survivability, so I got whole shields and a little bit of weapon to raise the overall DPS on this thing, because I kind of wanted to level this thing up really fast. Unfortunately, the trait I cannot show you. There probably is going to be some kind of visual to it, but that's just, you know, something that they kind of need to fix on Tribble. On the holodeck server, this is probably going to be working as intended. But that's it for this review. I hope you guys had a little bit of fun and knowledge coming out of it. As always, this is not a build, but keep in mind, 4 bridge officer seating also means 4 of these individual traits. So you are basically losing 1 passive trait ability from your bridge officers. So next one is going to be the one from the Lobai store. Hopefully I'm going to see you guys there as well. For now, take care. Later.